off the footpath. All right, and there's a little entrance between the shops, a tiled area that actually, funny enough, goes up to the probationary and parole office up above the shops. And so I've stepped back onto this tile area off the footpath, and I said, look, I've obeyed your directive, I've stepped off the footpath. I said, you can't arrest me. And this is when he came up to within 4 to 6 inches of my nose and just started swearing. I mean, obviously, there's some of it I'm not going to be able to repeat over the air here.
Well, but it is important, though. This is the language he was using. He lowered his voice.
He lowered his voice so nobody else could hear it.
I heard. I was standing right by that time. I really made sure I was paying attention.
And the language was very unsavoury, obviously.
Yeah.
And what was the message he was giving you?
You're a bum, useless. You're no good in society. Who are you to question me while I'm, doing my duty, etc., etc. And it's using the words F and everything else through it, the whole lot. So, I mean, at the time when he stepped up to me and did that, I mean, the way I felt about it, obviously being involved in the police and that before, I felt like he was attempting to incite me.
Well, he was no longer asking you to move on. He was actually being personal.
Oh, personally abusive, yeah. He'd already made comments about me, because I stated to him that I'd been in the police force, after the second time he said, because we're the police. He goes, yeah, and what'd you get kicked out for, and blah, 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 or something,
making assumptions about you based on your appearance as well.
Yeah. And when I said I didn't have a license, he told me that, oh yeah, you don't have a vehicle either, do you, and blah, 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 and it was just general commentary about me as an individual.
When a police officer comes up to you and is whispering right in your face personal insults, what do you do? What did you do?
Low voice. Well, as soon as you stepped up, I put both my hands behind my back. Right, okay, to show that it's a non-aggressive attitude. And then all I did, I looked him in his right eye, okay, and I didn't speak, I didn't say anything, didn't nod my head, didn't move, and just let him go, let him say whatever he wanted to say. I mean, it doesn't affect me. I mean, I know who I am, and his, verbiage, whatever he wanted to use to describe me has nothing to do with the truth. It's just him going off and attempting, as I said, from my perspective, was to incite me, to push him, to hit him, or to do something, so that way he was then justified in arresting me.
So the point, very clear here, you still were not aggressive. In fact, you took a passive stance.
Yep.
Okay, what happened next?
After he stopped, and that went on for about a minute, the last little bit he was just going, you understand, like this at me, and I'm like, still didn't respond. He stepped back away, probably 10 to 12 feet away to me, to the left of the entrance, and Pat was just to the right with holding the dog. We've got Diva, and he said, look, we're going down to the computer store to have a look at the hard drives. We're going to have a look at some drives there, and I said, yeah, we'll go down. I said, look, and just between us was like, I'm like, look, this is a public place, and I am allowed to stand wherever I choose to, and
the nice responded with, right, you are, and it's funny that the police officer thinks he knows you, or he's making these comments about you, or some words to that effect, and then I responded by saying that, it's pretty funny that you find that a police officer approaches you in such a manner and abuses you and swears at you, and as soon as I've basically said the word swear, he's been coming in at me, and he's collected me from the left-hand side. Felt like he was attempting to put a headlock on as well, but he ended up having my left arm. Now, we've sort of, with the collision of bodies, we've sort of stepped back out onto the footpath. Now, I've been trained in martial arts, so, after I'd left the police force, so I understand exactly what he was attempting to do with the armbar takedown, and that you generally use in the police, that and a wrist lock. So I knew what he was attempting to do with the armbar takedown. So what I've done was I've spread my legs, leant forward, so I put my shoulder below my elbow. And once you put a bend in the elbow, they can't actually use the armbar. It doesn't work. So I'm sort of stuck there stationary with him, with my arm up while he's holding it, and he can't do anything with it. And then that's when the probationary constable stepped in and helped him take me down to the ground. Now, when I'm going down to the ground, my shoulder, I kept my head up, because I knew both my arms are gone, I can't brace myself for the fall or anything, and we're going onto the pebbled footpath there. So I've kept my jaw up, so I made sure that I didn't smack my jaw and, bite my tongue or knock my teeth out or anything else like that. And
but my shoulder went. I mean, that was like major pain. It ended up, it was a posterior dislocation, which is only like 2 to 3% of dislocations of the shoulder happen posteriorly.
Now, obviously, there would have been a great deal of pain associated with that.
Yeah, well, it fractured as well. So it wasn't just a dislocation, there was a fracture in there as well.
So you knew right at that instant that something bad had happened to your shoulder?
Yeah, totally. Right. I mean, it was really, really sore. I mean, I've had other things. I've been hit by a car previously, and this was worse pain. With that, it was funny because I then had a hand. Now, I'm not certain which one it is, but I had a hand, and my fingers were on the back of my head were on the left-hand side, and the palm was on the right-hand side of my head, and that forced my face down into the footpath and broke the skin above my eye on the right-hand side. I could feel like the pebbly footpath actually pierced into the skin at the time. That was the only thing that distracted me from my shoulder. As soon as my head came back up, I said, "Look, you've broken my shoulder." And they continued then to attempt to get my hands up behind my back. Now, I couldn't move my left arm. Lying face down on the ground with knees in my back. And they even say in their fact sheet and their statement that he pried my arms up behind my back, and he had to, because I couldn't move it. I mean, if you think a posterior dislocation, the shoulder head of your arm is actually out the back, right, and it's up underneath the shoulder blade. So when he's actually put my arm up behind my back, he's twisted it up behind my back, and actually I could feel the shoulder head roll up underneath the shoulder blade.
Were you screaming out at this stage?
No. Look, I've dealt with a lot of pain my whole life. I've had a condition since I was 4.5. And so I've dealt with a lot of pain, so I know how to deal with it. And I didn't scream out or anything like that.
And Pat, was this causing quite a scene at the time? This is what time of the day are we talking about?
It was 2 p.m.
Very public incident, though. I mean, this is opposite a supermarket. Were people onlookers?
No, they weren't doing. No, they weren't. People were just ignoring it. I was bending over while the cops had him on the ground. I'm bending over. The dog that I'm holding is a very small dog. It's a pug cross silky terrier, and I'm bending over, yelling out at him, stop, that's assault, stuff like that, and wasn't really anything I could do. And this one guy came, and actually who was there, it looked like he was in one of the cars that had the little bingle to begin with. He actually pushed me back and said, "Oh, it's got nothing to do with you, mate," blah blah. And I'm saying to him, "Well, what are you talking about? There's 2-on-1, it's assault, blah blah." And everybody else that was standing there was a couple of people that were already there who had been involved in the little accident. They were just like, didn't want to know about it, just ignoring the whole thing. So
and this is a really important fact too, Peter. You told the police right from word go that they've done something to your shoulder.
Yes, correct. Before they handcuffed me, before they attempted to move my arm and that, I told them straight up, "You've broken my shoulder."
How many times would you say you told them that?
I told them when they did that. I told them when they stood me up. Right, as I was standing up, one of them attempted to, I think it was the constable that was in charge, he attempted to hurry me up, standing up, by grabbing my left arm, and of course that just set me off pain-wise. And I said, "Look, you've broken my shoulder, I'll get up, there's not a problem, just give me a chance to get my balance here, because I can't use my hands to get up, and, the only way that you can hold, like, your arm, like, I'm actually using my right arm while it's cuffed to hold the wrist of my left arm to try and mobilise, keep it mobilised, demobilised it, so it doesn't jar around, because any movement, it just really, sends shooting pain all the way through, the shoulder region into the chest area, the pecs, up through the neck, into the latissimus dorsi down the back.
So before they slapped the cuffs on you, you had told them at least twice about the shoulder?
I told them twice, yes, because when he said to get your arm up behind your back, I said, "Look, you've broken my shoulder, I can't move it." So that was twice beforehand. After I was cuffed.
Did they ever respond to what you had said? They didn't even...
No.
They didn't say, "Oh, you're a liar." They didn't say anything?
No.
Didn't respond to it?
No.
When they put the cuffs on you, it must have hurt.
Too right, it did. As I said, I could feel the shoulder head rotate up underneath the scapula, shoulder blade. So, yeah, that was pretty painful.
And I assume you asked them to take the cuffs off?
Well, once I stood up, I definitely did. I asked them if they could take the cuffs off, please, because so I could use my shirt as a sling. They refused me then. As I was about, because I was marched over then into the van, the paddy wagon, and then as I was about to get in, I asked again then.
once I was in the paddy wagon, actually, Pat had come over and I'd asked him to go and ask them to remove